Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Witty Comic Book Wrap. We've already covered this week's Fall of X books, so I would ask them to move on to some more miscellaneous Marvel books as well as some Star Wars books. Kicking things off, we've got Ghost Rider number 20. Where we left off, Johnny and Talia were on the trail of the cult of Mephisto, which Talia had belonged to previously, when she in her childhood, when her mystical abilities were first manifesting. So the issue starts. They've tracked the cult down to appears to be an amusement park, and various. Well, I take that back. Tracked them down to various locales, including an amusement park, and the main thing. And they've been trying to basically save the kids who've been recruited. But Talia explains that there were other things that the cult would do. Yeah. Sometimes they'd try sending counseling, medication, juvenile hall. Nothing seems to work, so send them off to a boarding school. We see a couple of guys show up at a house late at night, grab a young child, put zip ties around his wrists, and throw him put him in the back of a car. Though after that, the glamours the two are wearing wear off, and the kid is basically told that he's among friends. Talia and Johnny end up in Colorado, and apparently there is at the Rocky Mountain School for Troubled Youth. The idea is parents of their kids there, kids they don't know how to deal with. But there's a shield around the school that prevents adults from entering the grounds. We also get a flashback to Talia's youth, basically learning her occult training under Stefan. But the field around the school is a blood wall, and but Talia has an idea to get through it. Because sure, the rider can get through it, but Talia suggests that before they send the rider through, and but Talia says they need to understand what's happening in there first. So they make what's called a moonchild. There's another flashback to the past. Doctor Strange at the War Road home basically explaining that what Talia's been dabbling in, magically speaking, has tainted the house, and for the time being, her parents need to leave. But they're attacked by I guess the best way to describe it would be reflection demons. Doctor Strange sends them off, and upon further inspection of the house, discovers that the anger and evil of Mephisto have sunk into the very timbers of the house. But Johnny feels a little, in the present, Johnny feels a little off about having kind of basically made a child with Talia. And their differences of opinion are stated. And we see that apparently Talia has a burn scar around her right eye, which she's been hiding by having her, the way she saws her hair, so that it covers the right side of her face. In the past, Talia and Stefan rode right off, and they come upon as they're riding, they pass by a car wreck. Talia recognizes the car. It's her parents' car, and that's where she got. That's where she got the scar on her face, and apparently a death sigil was painted on top of the car, presumably by Stefan. But basically, Talia's explains that what she's learned over the years is that to never give too much of a shit about anybody, because they're all going to end up as a roadkill. But the Moonchild is sent into the school, as it can get through the blood wall, and that's where the primary story ends. There's a backup story focusing on Kushala, the spirit rider. Kushala and Ghost Rider are butting heads with one another in north of Albuquerque. Apparently, there's someone she was trying to kill. There's a flashback to 1878, around the same location. Kushala had found a wise man, hoping that perhaps the wise man could help her rid herself of the spirits of those who killed her tribe. There's a ritual that can be performed, but there were supplies that were needed in the forest. Kushala was sent. While gone, she hears a gunshot, and the component of the ritual that the wise man already had handy is taken from him by his murderer and consumed, turning him into something of a monster, or I guess a monster man, like just slightly malformed, big and muscly enough to tear through clothes, not to the point of the Hulk, but same basic concept. But Johnny points out that, hey, killing that guy is not going to bring back the wise man. So, and they suggest, hey, let's track him down, find out if it really is the same guy. They do, and it is. He manages to. He's learned spirit mining and manages to basically make it so that the riders can't manifest. And is close. Takes a shot at Kushala and Johnny, but Kushala points out that she's not just a spirit of vengeance; she's also a sorcerer supreme. And he is killed. His house burned down, but the spirits she was trying to rid herself of are, well, they're back to following her around. And seems like, but it does seem that she does feel at least a little bit better about having done so, and the two riders ride off, and that is where the issue ends. Like both stories, it's always nice to see Kushala show up, and I've really been enjoying this dive into Talia's hit origin story. I am hoping, as this is as next issue is the concluding issue of the story, that's not the concluding issue of the series, because, well, I'm liking this book, I'm digging it. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy number 3. Where we left off, Genus had been Genus Fellow had been tossed forward in time by Mephisto, who was masquerading as a surfer, and ended up face to face with an all-black Silver Surfer wielding Mjolnir. And well, Surfer, in his quest to find Genus, has gone to an unlikely source for help: the Mad Titan, Thanos. So the issue opens with Genus about to get his face smashed in by Mjolnir when Thanos and the Surfer show up. So I say that Genus is surprised to see both of them, especially Thanos. Thanos removes a reality gem from his gauntlet, saying that he wants a challenge, and well, it wouldn't even be, there wouldn't be a challenge at all with the reality gem. And so Genus goes to grab Genus. Apparently, Genus is feeling odd, but apparently he's absorbed a massive amount of temporal energy, and his aging goes from being an old man to middle-aged, younger, young as he normally was at this time, to a child, and then eventually to a baby. And while Thanos takes some hits from Surfer, he returns the favor in kind, stating that no matter what the Surfer, they always talk too much. Genus's age continues to fluctuate, and so the Surfer opts to absorb the temporal energy into himself and vanishes. But when the Surfer calls his board to him, Thanos manages to intercept it and uses the Surfer's own board to beat the hell out of him. However, the Surfer regains Mjolnir, but is defeated by Genus and Thanos combining an energy blast to seemingly take out the Surfer. But Genus asks what they do now, and Thanos says, "Well, hey, I helped the Surfer. I did what I promised the Surfer I'd do. So we'll go back to when we're supposed to be." Genus says, "Hey, what about the Surfer you came with though? What if he comes back?" Though Thanos says, "Hey, I didn't say anything about bringing him back. If he's gone, he's gone. That's that. So you either be stranded here or you can come back with me." Genus decides to go with the latter. Meanwhile, at the end, the Surfer suddenly appears on a planet. Sees an animal he's never seen before, but something's approaching. It's not something, but rather someone. Frankie Ray, the Herald of Galactus known as Nova, and the woman that the Surfer loves. However, Frankie's not there alone, as Galactus shows up, wondering why his most troublesome former herald is present. And that is where the issue ends. Things are getting interesting. Apparently, the point that Surfer's at is the end of time, or the end of the universe, basically. A point that has actually been explored quite a bit in recent Marvel comics, including most notably the end of time was brought up with I think in Immortal Hulk it was brought up that Franklin Richards and Galactus were observing the end of this universe to await the coming of the new one, where Franklin would become Galactus, though the Immortal Hulk still around, seemed to seemingly consume them both. Moving on though to our next book, venturing a long time ago into a galaxy far, far away, we have Star Wars Dark Droids number 4. Where we left off, well, things weren't looking good for the organic entities of the Star Wars universe. The Scourge had at least managed to take over, to be able to take over cyborgs, and had taken Braylord Valance, Magda, and Lobot. However, there has been a contingent of droids, a couple of forces of droids that tried to do something to stop the Scourge. Ajax Sigma's, the droid revolution, Ajax Sigma and his followers, as well as, to a degree, a group of droids referred to as D Squad, some of whom includes R2D2, and it's based R2D2 resurrecting a unit he fought with during the Clone Wars. So the issue opens on Coruscant with Masameda explaining what's going on to Imperial Command. There are security droids that have been taken by the Scourge, watching. Orders go out. Basically, if a droid is acting seemingly against its programming, destroy it without asking any questions. And we see this is happening throughout the Empire. On Scourge 1, which is in the Outer Rim, apparently the Scourge has transferred aspects of itself into an additional 4 droid bodies, forming something of a council. To give the illusion of having other voices, basically advisors. There are those who say that one saying that they're running out of time, with others saying that they've been running out of time since the moment they started. It's always how it goes. I think that after all, the Scourge has tried this previously, though not combined with Spark Eternal. It's the one that points out that things are different this time around. Notes that the addition of Spark Eternal to their construction, shattering old patterns. This particular aspect looks forward to studying the Spark further. Whatever the reason, this time it believes that they truly have a chance. The Hybrid is a significant breakthrough, and they have agents across the galaxy doing research to breach the barrier into full organics. The child aspect of the Scourge is scared and unsure that they're doing the right thing, and asking if they have the right to do what they're doing. For the moment, though, the Scourge seems they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The child points out, though, that there's something that they're not thinking about, though. On the planet Apiconia, which is a galactic relay hub, Lobot, Magda, and Valance show up and begin spreading the Scourge throughout, as well as getting rid of Imperials. But the relay hub will basically serve as a means of taking over the relay hub will serve as a means of keeping older droids taken by the Scourge completely updated and connected. But astromechs are sent out to start rounding up civilians for experimentation. There are also ships that will serve as additional relays. Back on Scourge 1, the child points out that what it is they aren't thinking about. Ajax, who is rebuilding a droid, but his defeat on Scourge 1 has drained him of has caused a crisis of faith within him. However, Ajax has visitors. R2-D2, QTKT, 000, 4LOM, BT1, and IG-88. BT1 explains that he and his colleagues are all killers. They heard that Ajax was one as well, and that's why they're there, to recruit him. Though Ajax points out he's not a killer, he's a priest. But Ajax says that yes, he will join R2 and the rest of rest of D Squad. But there's dissent among the various aspects of the Scourge. It destroys one that attempts to destroy him, and perhaps the child's maybe top. And the relay ships were sent off as Scourge 1 orbits Epiconia, and that is where the issue ends. Interesting. This is next month's 5th issue is the concluding issue the conclusion of Dark Droids. I think there's a whole list of the order of everything. Yeah, Dark Droids number 5 is the wrap-up. Well, like I said, interesting. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we have Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 38, continuing Dr. Aphra's tie-ins to Dark Droids. Where we left off, Aphra had discovered that Magna had been turned by the Scourge, and realized that she probably needed a little bit of help. Also, see that Domina Tage is, and Domina Tage has also been dealing with the Scourge on her, though for a moment, Aphra was helping her too. Like, personally help in person. So, Aphra's gone to get help from Sana. Sana kind of just, why should I help you? Why should I offer you a favor? While then Aphra says that yes, she took Sana for granted, and she understands why Sana left. But at this point, it's not. Aphra's not asking for Sana's help to help her. She's asking for Sana's help in helping Magna. Which actually kind of makes Sana realize that, okay, things are, that's different. But Sana's brought up to speed by Magna and Lucky, while Magna's overseeing attempts to add humans to the Scourge's hive mind. Failing to do so, but yeah. But it seems that the Scourge is enjoying what it's doing. Sana, Aphra, and Just Lucky arrive on Epiconia. Sana Sana talks to the rebellion, namely General Organa, and found out what Magna had been up to before her signal was lost. That said, Magna's whole squad all had trackers embedded in their clothes. And apparently Magna's signal ends on Epiconia. But they've got some experimental EMP emitters from Tageco. Apparently, Aphra probably just took them, and when Lucky asks, she says that if they botch the mission, it's not going to matter. So I have to make sure to get it right. But it's explained that the EMP emitters are the last resort. Very short range, but should knock out everything in the immediate vicinity. Blasters, machinery, and Aphra's electro tattoos. So they start blasting droids. Mainly Lucky does, being a sniper. But that's basically to distract from, as a means of distracting the droids. Aphra and Sana break into the main building. They see Magna, Valance, and Lobot all together, and clearly not being held prisoner. Aphra chucks an EMP emitter at them. Magna and Valance are able to see, and presumably also Lobot are able to get out of range. And they manage to stop. They hit the EMP emitter again on Magna, and on the Archangel 4, Magna starts to wake up, but she's told not to move. The Scourge still has control, but the Scourge points out that Magna isn't there anymore. Her body lives in an empty house, and the Scourge is the only one home. So, Aphra uses her electro tattoos to get into the Scourge's head. After all, the Scourge, melded with the Spark Eternal, and Aphra's got some experience with the Spark Eternal. Apparently, Aphra takes offense that the Spark having called her boring, but she discovers that what's going on with the Spark, or with the Scourge, is that it's one mind, basically spread out among a massive number of bodies, with a need to consume more. And she starts to see kind of the plans of the Scourge. But upon getting out of Magna's head, she explains to to Sana and Lucky just as much as well as she can that the Scourge has already found a vector to take over organic bodies. And the issue ends with a serving droid clearly taken over by the Scourge, serving Davina Tage. Interesting. I imagine that one way or another, Davina Tage will either be seeing Davina Tage's ultimate fate at the end of the next issue, or ensuring she'll be sticking around for a while. I kind of get the feeling it's going to be more of the latter, but we'll see. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.